And guys, if I'm being so honest, all I could think is, what are these guys thinking? What is going on, my friends? So good to see you guys again. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for another video. So I'm not really one to want to cover like music news ever. You know, my channel is generally more guitar, mainly electric guitar oriented. I usually try to leave the music news to other channels out there. I mean, there's just an insane number of channels out there that cover anything you might want to know about what's going on in music currently. So I get on YouTube yesterday, I see that Rick Beato has just dropped a new video, and lo and behold, the video is about Rush, their new drummer, and how they're going on tour. I click on the video, I watch like about a minute of it or something like that. I start skipping around, and guys, if I'm being so honest, all I could think is, what are these guys thinking? So Rick had clips from Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee in his video, where they were talking about why they want to tour, what's making them make this decision, and ultimately why they're picking the drummer that they picked. So for those of you who don't know, the drummer who's going to be going on tour with Rush is a drummer named Annika Niles. Now, Annika is an absolute beast of a musician. She's unbelievably good, insane chops, insane feel, just an absolute monster on the drums. So the drummer is not who I had a problem with. I mean, Geddy Lee even posed the question in his clip, how do you replace someone who's irreplaceable? Now, I've been a big Rush fan for about as long as I can remember, definitely since I started playing any instruments. I just have loved their music. I've dug into their albums really heavily. I've learned to play lots of their songs, and I love their music. I actually had the chance to see them back in 2011, and honestly, it was like eye-opening, game changer. I'm like, man, how can this much sound be taken up by 3 people on stage? I mean, you're filling an arena full of sound. It was just insane. And guys, when I just think about like great rock songs and some of the all-time best intros, Spirit of Radio is still one that I cannot turn off. If I hear the beginning, if it's halfway through, it really doesn't matter. I have a hard time getting away from that song once I hear it. It just is so good. Actually, when I first started trying to take YouTube a little bit more seriously, I did a video on the greatest rock and roll guitar intros of all time, and Spirit of Radio was definitely on that list. Actually, here's a clip from that video. And at the center of this band, you have one of the more prominent writers of the group, an absolute powerhouse of a drummer. I mean, I'm talking about the reason that air drummers exist. Neil Peart was a member of Rush that without him, I don't know how that band could go on. So like everybody and probably 99% of situations that happen in life, I immediately went to the negative. Honestly, my first thought was these guys must need some money if they're trying to go on tour. And looking back on that, that's just foolish of me to even start to say or think anything like that. I mean, we're talking about individuals who have been playing their music in front of audiences for 50 plus years. I mean, touring, connecting with fans, that road life, that's just what they have known. And regardless of the circumstances, if all of that was just taken away like that, it would be hard for anybody. So I ended up going back and watching the full announcement video with Geddy and Alex. What I ended up taking away from that video is that they just really miss playing the music that they have created. You know, they wrote a lot of music together. They've spent so much time with each other, and it seems like they still really enjoy each other's company. So why would they not want to get back out there and get after it? I mean, it's such incredible music. It really does deserve to be played by people who want to play it, and it deserves to be heard by the people who want to hear it. So in trying to kind of spin this in a more positive light in my mind, I actually started thinking about my students. I've had quite a few students who have come in wanting to learn Rush songs. Not a ton because they are a little bit more niche, but I've had probably 7 or 8 students bring in Rush songs that they've wanted to learn. Now all I can really think about with this is, holy smokes, man, these students might actually have a chance to go see a band that has had a pretty big influence on them early on. I think that is just so cool. I've gotten to see so many of the guys at this point who have been really big inspirations to me, and I just think it would be so cool for younger people who may just be getting into Rush to have a chance to actually go see them live. And then, as I said earlier, Annika is an amazing, amazing drummer. I know she is going to eat that gig up. Rick already said this in his video. I don't think that she's going to make everything sound like Neil Peart. You know, she has to be kind of true to herself as a musician. And so she's going to give her best interpretation of the music. But that being said, I think she's going to absolutely nail some of those iconic parts that everyone has to hear for certain songs. But y'all, after the weird kind of whirlwind of emotions and thoughts going through my head, I can honestly say I'm actually pretty excited about this. Is it bittersweet? Of course, but I'm excited. And honestly, I might try to get tickets and go. So guys, I want to hear from you. Are you Rush fans? Do you think it's a good move going back out? Or is it a bad move? Let me know down in those comments. Well, my friends, that's all I've got for you. Thank you guys so much again for hanging out with me for another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.